Sup guys, so for today's video, it's going to be a Rosalina matchup chart. Not going to edit this one, my editor needs a break. I don't know how to edit for shit, as you can probably imagine. So, unedited, be a fun time there. You're going to be like, oh my god, Dabuz, I disagree with you. I'm going to say, too bad, I'm the best Rosa player in the world. You can't disagree with me, it's how it works. But yeah, we're going to start from the bottom, best matchups going up. So, first off, we got the +2 tier. So, Rosa generally is just very good versus bigger body characters. Her combo game gets really ridiculous, and she has like things like forward throw, dash attack, cancel in the air, forward smash to kill. When characters can't avoid nair when being juggled, and when Rosa's ledge trapping gets to excel, she tends to just be really good in a matchup. And also when a character is slow, she tends to be good in a matchup. Characters without disjoints, she just destroys the neutral oftentimes, especially if there's no projectile to kind of like bait her into bad down Bs. So, with that said, I think this +2 tier is pretty simple, right? Incineroar, Ganondorf. I mean, no range, slow. Also, slow characters can't deal with her, like, platform camping without Luma, right? So, if somehow Ganondorf and Incineroar kill Luma, I can literally just go to platforms and full hop away. So that's really annoying for them. And then with DK, sure, he's fast, he can chase me, but he's still just a big body. I don't think I have to explain too much why this is just a really bad matchup. I will say, Luma combo breaks his throw combos, like up throw up air, and that is huge when that's like his main kill confirm, right? So there's gonna be a lot of characters like that where they might do good versus Rosa, except for Luma really combo breaking, and a lot of times Rosa effectively is heavier than she statistically is because of Luma reducing damage taken a lot. Also with these matchups, I'm not gonna go too in depth, right? We got 80-ish characters, so I'm gonna try to keep the most important attributes for the characters like what I mentioned. Next up, +1 tier, right? Matchups, Rosa wins. Starting off, Bowser Jr. This is just kind of one of those Bowser Jr. isn't great. He has to commit hard to his approaches with his side B, and if he's trying to use his projectiles, Rosa's gravity pull is really good versus them. So I just think, okay, Rosa kind of wins this. So I'm going to slightly lower the volume on this, just very slightly. Alright. So, next up, Falcon. A lot of his combos get stopped by Luma, and he's very vulnerable to like forward throw combos into forward smash, like forward throw, dash attack, cancel, nair, forward smash, edge guard. Add to the fact that he can like chase Rosa without Luma, his lack of disjoints, and the fact that he kind of has committal like buttons overall, means Rosa's disjointed hitboxes, even without Luma, really wall him out. So he doesn't have a great advantage ever, unless he gets Rosa in the corner. Hits just kind of struggle with campy characters. Rosa's campy character. Rosa outranges them. Moving on. Diddy Kong. So this matchup, Diddy Kong's really annoying for Rosa because the monkey flip's obnoxious. And he's fast enough to kind of just run around Rosa if she like whiffs anything. I remember versus Aaron, I was down 0-2 at SmashCon because I just couldn't hit him. And he kept monkey flipping at good times. But the biggest issue in the matchup is Starbits. Starbits and Gravity Pull lets you grab the banana. So you can basically pick it up and use against him. And a lot of campy play is really annoying for Diddy Kong. So it's +1, but it's like you gotta be very smart with your side Bs as Rosa. Doc. I mean it's Doc, right? He can't really approach. His combos aren't gonna work too well. He does murder Luma, and Rosa doesn't have a great answer for pills, besides kind of committing to approaches or walling them out sometimes. But it's not enough. Falco just lacks an approach. Luma breaks combos. Gets out range, gets edge guard easily. It's just everything Rose wants in a character. Greninja is gonna be a controversial one. And the thing about this matchup is, granted, I might be underrating Greninja as a character lately, but I just don't think Greninja really has a great way to get in. Luma blocks shurikens. Once again, combos kind of get broken. The fact that he's very like linear approach tools, and he's not good at continuing pressure. Like he can do safe things like safe nair or safe-ish dash attack, but he can't really stay on top of Rosa's shield with his pressure. I can just kind of nair and stop a lot of it due to his lack in frame data. So that's a big deal in the matchup. And then a lot of these matchups, Rosa can edge guard, so I should honestly only mention when Rosa can't edge guard as a trait for a matchup. Because that's generally like a kill, like, oh, win condition for us. Get him off stage, edge guard. Ices, I mean, slow character. I will say side B can kind of annoying because it can like punch through Luma if I whip any attack, kill Luma, juggle Rosa, and their damage output means Luma gets murdered and Rosa dies super easily. With that said, they're waiting for Rosa to make mistakes. I guess one of the few sorties I think Rose is good versus. And that's just because he doesn't have any tricks with his sword. It's just like big sword. But Starbits gives me more range than his sword. So despite having that sword to safely pressure Luma in theory, and do a lot of damage and kill me, he ends up getting poked out a lot. And then he gets juggled really hard. So that's rough for him. Inkling is just not good versus characters that she has to approach. And she's really bad at juggling. So Rosa can kind of exploit that with Starbits and just full hopping in bad spots. And Inkling doesn't have a great way to stop that. Isabelle is a matchup that surprisingly isn't that great for Rosa. She wins it, but she wins it by just being a better character for the most part. Isabelle's like Fair and Bear are annoying, and her up-close game is actually really obnoxious. The problem is she's just too light, so she doesn't trade well with Rosa. So meaning like Nair spam can be very annoying for her, because it also like punches through Fair and Bear sometimes. It kind of contests a lot of her range. And Isabelle lacks a great way to hit Luma. Like, you can Fair, you can Bear, but unless you get point blank, which ends up being potentially unsafe, a little bit scary, you can't do a lot of damage. Down B is kind of annoying, but it's like she has these tools that are solid in the matchup, but don't do quite enough, despite being directly solid tools. So, Puff, I mean, it's Puff. Right? Not exactly. A lot of these matchups here, aren't great characters. Rosa's a really good bad character stomper. Puff is one of those bad characters. Nair basically outranges all of Puff's moveset, and Rosa's really good air mobility. I mean, she can kind of play like the air footsies, but also is fast enough on the ground that just run around, let Puff jump and whiff. And then the Rosa's anti-airs versus non-dish characters are very strong. Ken gets ruined by the edge guard game. Like, he isn't the worst at approaching. He can definitely run up and just mash buttons. Luma won't really save Rosa. But, like, he gets screwed by the edge guards, in my opinion. Absolutely wrecked. Also, when you up air him and you're using focus, if you hit him with Rosa and Luma, it breaks the focus most of the time. So, can't even use that as, like, a juggle escape. DDD. This is one of the few matchups Gravity Pull is really good in, because Gordos are super slow. And then Starbits also hits the Gordos back at him. So his main tool isn't really there. And at that point, he's just a big body character with a disjoint, which isn't doing enough. Speaking of Gravity Pull, you got K-Rool. You Gravity Pull the crown? That's my crown. I got 2 crowns now. Rosa's and K-Rool's. So suddenly, his biggest tool is gone. And then finally, it's K-Rool. Granted, hits hard. Armor can be really annoying if, like, the Rosa player isn't respecting it. So you have to kind of respect, like, Nair a lot, dash attack. But otherwise, he's just K-Rool. Kirby can't hit Rosa. Shoot Starbits, full up away, GG. Mac can't really do Starbits while neutral. He has to commit really hard to, like, side being, like, parrying, whatever for Starbits, and it's just not gonna happen. Like, sure, he can get that opening if between Rosa and Starbits, catching her when she's jumping, dashing around, it's Mac, but he's committing hard to these not really safe approaches. And in matchups like this where Rosa can just Starbits, force unsafe approach, punish because she's such a low commitment character, she just has to be really good. Lucario's neutral just isn't good enough. He can kind of up B Rosa at like weird angles in neutral, and that's oddly effective. And when he has a lot of aura, side B is annoying. But luckily down air is so good at catching his recovery, or even using like Nair to catch him recovering at weird angles, and confirming that to up airs and down airs to kill him. And finally, up smash is really important as a way to outrange a lot of his aerials and kill him at relatively early percents. This matchup though could honestly be even, but I'm gonna put it here for right now. Lucina. So Lucina's thing is she's a little bit too slow to consistently pressure Rosa, so Starbits ends up being annoying. Dash attack and dash attack cancel grabs are really obnoxious for her. She has to always respect those and not whiff too much. But even neutral when she's respecting Starbits, Rosa can just burst her down. And then like back air kind of contests her range. Nair is a great mash option versus her up close. And it's like Lucina's fine. She's, in Rosa's airspace, she swings. Rosa can't like contest her too well air to air if she's at the right spacing. She can kill Luma easily. She can edge guard. But I think Rosa can keep her at the ledge and juggler are pretty hard due to her being a little bit slower and floatier, and being able to contest her range with Starbits and Rosa's burst range is important. And then Marth. Same thing, right? I would say Marth's tippers can kind of hit Luma very well at the ranges Luma wants to play at. So that's a nice little bonus he has in the matchup, but he's just a worse character. Hey, look, it's Luigi. I mean, yeah, he wants to grab you, but he's super slow. And also, Luma can combo break the low percent combos. Like, down throw up B is going to work, generally, if you do it right. But, like, all like the down throw, like down air loops, don't work reliably versus Rosa. Wouldn't recommend it. I will say Fireball Camping's kind of annoying, but, like, that's all he really has going for him in the matchup. Just don't be super impatient as Rosa. Game & Watch. He's a character that really excels versus characters that, like, don't wall super hard, or characters he can, like, kind of, I would say force an approach first, but the characters had to fight up close. Rosa is neither of those. She outcamps him, so forces an approach and plays really far away, right? Even like his ledge trapping with Bacon doesn't work because Luma blocks it a lot of times. So Chef not being a reliable ledge trap is massive in this matchup. I will say the fact that he's hard to edge guard and juggle does hurt Rosa. But the fact that he's super light means one of Rosa's bigger issues, which is killing if not getting edge guards, is kind of negated there. Alright, Ness. This matchup honestly low-key could be even. Very low-key Ness could be even. Like, super low-key. But the thing about this match, and the reason for that is that Ness can charge smashes at ledge and hit Rosa's recovery very easily. It's actually super ridiculously obnoxious, and I hate it. And then also PK Fire is kind of hard for Rosa to deal with. She can't really punish that because she's so tall that like just evading it's rough. If it hits Luma, it still goes off. And then that ends up controlling the neutral a lot. And then Rosa's tall, so she has a lot of trouble dealing with his just aerials. Like he can do rising aerials and still hit her. With that said, like those are the things he has going for her in the, him in the matchup. But Rosa Nair is really annoying. Like as long as Ness isn't getting in Rosa's face, Rosa's Nair is gonna constantly contest his moves. It should keep him like honest and neutral. It juggles him pretty hard. The edge guarding with like fairs, down air, star bits. If he gets in the air dodge range, it's kind of rough. But if you get him a little bit farther off range, Rosa gets to edge guard him. I will say down being the up B in this game isn't that relevant. And also Ness isn't really great at the ledge or in the corner. He has to commit to getting out there, and Rosa's good at punishing that. So it's one of those matchups that's like Rosa favored, but Rosa actually has an execution, like is more of an execution character in the matchup than Ness, I think. So Ness is definitely able to play this matchup much better than you think. Alright, Plant. I think the main thing is that Starbits is just too good at intercepting Plant's game. Like Plant wants to set, you know, neutral Bs or down B neutral, the poison cloud, whatever it is. And side B guy just says, no, stop trying to use your slower setup projectile. I'm messing you up. And after that, I think Ness just loses. I mean, Plant just loses pound for pound. Pichu. He's just not a great character. Luma combo breaks especially, like, really is a big deal in the matchup. Because now Pichu's going for combos, getting combo broken by Luma when he's the lightest character in the game. And, like, has to commit to approaches, takes damage, and just... Nah. Now, Rosa's walling is too good otherwise. Olimar. This is one of the few matchups where, like, Rosa kind of gets out neutral. Pikmin Toss is very annoying for her. But Olimar's disadvantage is just too subpar. Like, Rosa's especially good at keeping floatier characters in disadvantage, in my opinion. And Olimar is one of them. Whistle isn't going to help too much, because you can, like, throw hitboxes outside of Whistle into, like, counterattack range. And then you can also gravity pull Pikmin Toss and forwards and smashes. So, like, any bad whites or purples, Rosa gravities them. And sure, you can just throw Pikmin, run away, and, like, use Rosa cycle his lineup in a way. But the moment Rosa decides to mix him up with a burst option, she wins that neutral, right? And then finally, him being so slow means Rosa can just kind of jump around, prance around, be annoying, get random hits. Ridley. This is one of those matchups Rosa wins. However, Ridley can just blow you up for any mistakes because Rosa's so light and has such big hitboxes. The main thing is, he definitely loses a neutral. And then when Rosa hits Ridley, it's Ridley, right? He gets blown up. So it's not really a bad matchup for Ridley overall. Like, if you outplay the Rosa player, you're gonna win. But it's like, if you play on even foot with the Rosa player, she should just be able to get, like, more neutral wins and turn that to a lot of damage. So Luma stops down throw combos. Gravity Pull is amazing versus Gyro. Big Laser also gets messed up by Gravity Pull. You can actually challenge Rob's Nairs with up tilt, up smash, and up air. So that's a big deal. And then finally, his tilts kind of get messed up by like Luma. Even if Luma's not combo breaking, hitting Luma with a tilt causes a bit of extra hit lag to make follow-ups not as good. And the fact that Rob gets caught by a lot of like Nair combos, frame trap setups, because he is big. And overall, it's definitely a Rosa favorite matchup. With that said, it's hard to kill Rob because he's kind of hard to edge guard in particular. And like, he still can be a bit more passive with his projectiles, and that can be annoying for Rosa. But like, at that point, he has to play a lot on Rosa's buttons and kill options more than Rosa has to play around his stuff. Okay, Robin. Robin's one of these characters that outcamps Rosa, for sure. But I think despite that, between Gravity Pull, which this is one of those matchups you can actually Gravity Pull side B on reaction, which is good. And if you read him doing a projectile, you can Gravity Pull a little bit early and get in his face, which is important. Because between projectiles and Levin Sword, Rosa has to make something happen again in his face. She can't even like do Starbits too much because she'll trade poorly at some point. But with that said, she's much faster than Robin. I mean, I guess who isn't? And can really pressure him, keep him disadvantaged. So even though the neutral is rough, I think she's good at stopping Robin's game plan until she gets going. Ryu. This matchup is actually almost even. Also, I want to say Robin's almost even. But yeah. So fireballs are really annoying because they're so low lag. And like, you can use like fireballs to force out gravity pulls from Rosa. Because if she doesn't, she's getting poked out over and over. But if she does use gravity pull and Ryu reads that, runs up, hits her, kills her super early. Luma's not going to combo break his stuff nearly as well as Ken either. But with that said, it's like kind of like Ken. You got like a forward throw, dash attack, Nair, forward smash, or whatever Nair combos. There and up air is great breaking armor, edge guarding. And it's like Ryu's game plan is much more limited than Rosa's in terms of just like Fireball can't find the opening. So Rosa should win this, but I will say I've actually had matches versus Ryu's where I'm like, this is kind of rough. Because I do have to find like an opening around the fireballs, or like bait out Ryu trying to find an opening. Samus. I think Samus being floaty just really stinks versus Rosa. Like if Samus jumps, Rosa can kind of just run up Nair and like overwhelm Samus. Starbits can really stop like charge shot pressure in general. And also Luma blocks charge shot too, which is a big deal. You can like shoot Luma out and move forward that way. You can crawl and use Luma block it that way unless Samus is jumping over. You can also gravity pull bombs and neutral the ledge to make Samus' ledge trapping life rougher. And finally, Samus can't get out of the corner that well, and Rosa's really good at exploiting characters in the corner with her safe pokes. So I could see it being even maybe, but from my experience, it's felt pretty good for Rosa generally. Alright, Sheik. Honestly, this is like one of Sheik's worst matchups. Combo breaks. Doesn't trade well at all with Rosa, who's just swinging a lot with these big dish joints. And Rosa's like faster than people think. She doesn't outspeed Rosa too much. Needles aren't that big of a deal. A lot of her kill confirms don't really work. Rosa's recovery is very good. So Sheik's only a very edge guard based character, and I think Rosa doesn't care about that. So really, like none of Sheik like winning conditions work. The neutral is still annoying for Rosa, I'm not gonna lie. And I could see it just being +1. But when I like talk about it, I'm like, dang. I feel like Sheik doesn't have a proper win condition in the matchup. So that is huge. So I need a I like have like little stuff in my glasses, but I don't have a clock. Never mind, I found one. I feel like a professor right now. Alright, Sora. This matchup might be even, but I leave it here for right now. Because I think Rosa wins the mid-range projectile war really well. And matchups with Sora, in my experience, where Sora loses the mid-range game, he just tends to lose. Like, not great at approaching. Pretty easy to juggle, ledge trap, and Rosa can actually edge guard him surprisingly well. Gravity pull also dealing with Thunder in particular is really nice. Otherwise that move would be very annoying. But with that said, I could be wrong on this one. This could be even. He does have a big sword. Rosa kind of gets messed up by his combos, honestly. She's big and floaty, and Luma doesn't save her most of the time. But I lean towards winning right now. Toon Link. Toon Link is one of those matchups that is really annoying in a lot of ways, because Rosa has to find chances to burst him down through the projectile barrage, and Gravity Pull is pretty useful for dealing with that stuff. But leaves are open. With that said, it's like he's more annoying than like scary, right? Like he's gonna hit me with a lot of projectiles, but good DI, Luma usage, Star Bits, Gravity Pull, and I'll eventually find that opening. And I think just pound for pound, Rosa does more damage than Toon Link a lot of times, with more versatile combo starters and more range. And Toon Link's recovery is so exploitable. Villager. I mean, character similar to Isabel, but I think a big deal in the matchup is Rosa can down tilt through side B or gravity pull it, and it's hard for Villager to deal with that. And then suddenly, I think Villager tends to just be a worse character up close. So he doesn't really have like a great way to approach Rosa with his main approach tool. And if they get up close, Rosa's going pound for pound. I don't think Villager's a good character, but he can edgeguard Rosa. Definitely can edgeguard Rosa, and because he's heavier than Isabel, he can trade much better. Wii Fit Trainer. She just gets constantly stuffed up by Starbits. Like, she does not have a good answer for that at all. And then Gravity Pull is a great answer for Neutral B. It like forces her to be so much smarter with that. And you can also like, since Wii Fit's good at the ledge, but Rosa is really good at like the ledge trapping with Luma Steps or whatever. I feel like one of Wii Fit's better strengths, which is being at that ledge spot, is not good in this matchup. Alright, Yoshi. Yoshi is just a character that he actually combos Rosa pretty hard, kills her pretty well. You know, Yoshi's heavy, Rosa's light. But man, no disjoints and being an aerial based character just means he gets blown up by a Nair. Nair, fair, up air, bear, up smash, up tilt. Like, he's not going to find openings well. He's basically waiting for the Rosa to make mistakes. And he's not going to get out of the air well. He's going to have trouble recovering, and the ledge can be rough. Young Link. So, most matchups like this, where it's a projectile heavy character that Rosa wins versus, the issue tends to be Luma blocks stuff too much, Gravity Pull, or the character's too vulnerable to getting like bursted down for being too predictable, and blown up for it. Young Link is a character that gets blown up for losing neutral in general, so he falls into that category of like, oh, you're really annoying, but the moment I get one reading, one dash attack to punch through an arrow, get in your face, and put you in the air, it's over. Get out of here, bud. Just leave. And this matchup is a perfect example of that. So, it's like, the Young Link can win if the Rosa doesn't get these harder reads. But I think the harder reads are very rewarding. And especially Luma kind of stopping off combos. She has a pretty favored risk reward if she's playing a bit more assertive. And then we got Zelda. Zelda is a character that, she's just not a great character, right? You can Gravity Pull Phantom, and unless the Zelda is like committing to like Phantom full charge, and then chasing that with an up B or dash attack, like Gravity Pulling the Phantom is big. It negates all the pressure, and then suddenly Zelda just isn't great. If you're crouching a lot in this matchup, Zelda's a lot of trouble hitting rising sweet spot fairs, which is massive. So down tilt's really good in the matchup. And finally, Zelda just being so poor at the ledge. She gets really messed up by Roses. Very safe, although sometimes not like great at killing or doing a lot of damage ledge trapping. But Zelda just gets looped over and over by it. But yeah, that's her matchups. I think she just definitely wins. As you can see, it's mostly weaker characters, I'd say. Not, especially characters aren't really good in the neutral, like Zelda's strong versus Rosa's strong versus. Next up, the even matchups. Starting off, Banjo. And I think this one used to be Rosa's favorite in my opinion. But I find that this is one of those matchups where Banjo is just kind of like, it's hard to deal with eggs. Rose is forced to burst him down, but his recovery is kind of annoying to get. He's heavy, he trades very well, so Rosa can't make mistakes there. Back air is an obnoxious move, But eggs are really annoying, and Rosa being so lightweight and big means side B is really scary. Like, Rosa will die at like 60 or 70 to side B in the corner. Even mid-screen, like 90 or 100, it will kill her. So, I could see being Rosa a favorite, but I kind of lean towards it being even. Because I'm like, damn, I don't have a consistent answer. And I'm not allowed to make many mistakes. And also my execution as Rosa has to be on point for the edge guards, the juggles, the ledge traps, along with some good reads. That's scary. Violet. This one could honestly be Rosa's favorite. Starbits is really annoying for Violet. But what ends up happening a lot of times in this matchup is that the moment you lose Luma, Violet is just too much of a pain in the ass. Like, Rosa can't be in the air versus Violet, just any buttons. It's really hard to get out of the corner, especially without Luma. And then a lot of times you're going to have Luma, it's going to die in the corner to like Pharaohs and Bears, and you're not really going to have Luma much once you lose it once. With that said, it's the same way for Violet, right? Like, if Violet gets put in the corner in the air in a bad spot, like, you can just kind of keep Violet in the air forever with up airs, tilts, nairs. The corner is really hard for Violet to escape. Violet has to like burst out of the corner and be predictable. And Violet is also super combo food. The tether recovery is annoying for sure. I think if Violet's recovery wasn't so good, this would be Rosa's favorite overall. Peach Daisy is one of the funnest matchups in the game. Very skill testing matchup. Because Rosa and Peach kind of are playing at similar ranges. The main thing is like Rosa's like really good at like playing at that like mid-range, more passively, bait things out, poke. And Daisy's really good. I know I said Peach before, deal with it. Daisy's really good at like, kind of waiting and shield, floating around and finding that opening where it's a bit too predictable of walling, and then doing a lot of damage. Both characters ledge trap each other very well. Edge guard and juggle each other very well, actually. So, where Rosa's looking for more passive play in openings, Daisy's looking for the aggressive ones, and they both kind of have a lot of good tools at dealing with each other. Also, Rosa's playing 2 campy, Daisy can go for turnips, which is really annoying. And if the Daisy is playing too aggressively, Luma can slap a lot of pressure and combos, or gravity pull turnips. So it's a nice lot of balance there. Kazuya. I don't know where to put this matchup a lot of times. Sometimes it's like, oh yeah, Rosa can play lame and win. Sometimes it's like, dang. But anytime I commit the pressure, I can get electric and die, and Luma doesn't save me enough. So it ends up being an even matchup. It's like every Kazuya matchup, right? It's how lame you're going to play, and how much can you play super lame and super safe before Kazuya gets a chance to hit you and kill you. And with Rosa, the answer is pretty lame, pretty safe. Although his laser is very good at dealing with like super campy like back air and starbit based play. And that's a big deal. Also, you can kind of like go off stage and like up B and down Rosa's recovery, and that's a little bit annoying. But Rosa can destroy Kazuya's recovery. So, pretty balanced there. And I don't really know who I would put the favor of anyone. Link. So, Link is really annoying with all of his projectiles. The problem is he's too slow to exert pressure on Rosa, right? So it's like his aerial is hard to punch. Projectiles are safe pressure, it's going to kill Luma, hard to punish. But then he can't do as much with that stuff. And when he's put in a bad spot, like he can't really do much to escape, like up tilt juggles in particular. Nair can kind of be good against Rosa's Nair and even up air. But like up tilt's just going to straight up beat his stuff. Downer is going to kill his recovery. Down tilt Starbit is going to keep him at the ledge. It's just that, like, are you going to lose Luma before you find that punish? And if you don't have Luma, it's hard to hold the advantage state with Rosa in general. Especially for disjointed characters like Link. Alright, Lucas. Lucas is just kind of, like, side B is really obnoxious. It hits Luma and, like, blows it up very easily. So Rosa has to make these openings happen. But then Lucas Tether, good air mobility. His fair is really annoying move in general. Rosa's tall, lightweight, so it kills Luma, can kill Rosa easily, and it's hard to avoid. Granted, I haven't played the matchup too much. Also, down smash can be a good edge guard. But from what I have played in the matchup, it feels pretty even-ish. If anything, Rosa wins long term, but I haven't played the matchup enough for that. I've played the Mario matchup way too freaking much in my life. I'm so experienced in the matchup. With that said, it's really even. Like, sure, Rosa walls at Mario, but Mario is no problem, like, kind of approaching a bit slower and using his shield to find great chances like up B out of shield, down air, bear, fireball is really annoying. Mario's combo game is really good at hitting Rosa and Luma at the same time. And he's really hard to edge guard. Ledge trapping is harder than you expect, and juggling is harder than you expect. So it's like, Rosa wins the neutral. She's not getting rewarded enough off winning the neutral. So Mario is gonna, in exchange, win neutral, get a lot more damage, kill Luma. And then he's gonna show go to kill Rosa, to be fair. He can't chase her that well. So there's a lot of like little interesting dynamics going on there, and it feels very back and forth. So Mega Man. This matchup used to be really hard for Rosa. And then over time we've learned how to play better. It's kind of like Young Link matchups or Banjo, where it's like, when are we going to approach and mess him up? But also, we can use Starbit's Law and be annoying with that if we think that Mega Man is going to counter our approaches by using like his fairs, his back airs, shield. So it's like, it's a balance of, alright, approach him with like dash attacks, jump in there, maybe shoot Luma to like block a forward smash or some lemons again that way. But then also bait out his walling tools like his aerials and the shield and call this down punish. And then finally keep him disadvantaged. Same old, same old. Gravity pull is really good versus up air in particular. That's a huge deal in the matchup. And generally Mega Man just doesn't hold the advantage super well. So you can't exploit Rosa's biggest weakness, which is just when she gets hit. Alright, Meta Knight. This character I think was Rosa's favorite in the last list. I'm bumping him up just because I don't think Rosa is a great way to deal with like just him running around the ground and like playing very whiff punish based. Luma isn't great at saving Rosa from the combos, honestly, which really stinks. And like forward smash is actually one of these moves that like is kind of annoying because Rosa doesn't have a great punish for it, but just does it. Like she's too slow to burst him down preemptively, post-emptively, she can do like star bits or whatever. And the forward smash can be very annoying though for killing Luma. Also, he can like use burst options like down B and side B to hit Luma, even if Rosa blocks it and like throws him or something for that. If Rosa loses Luma in the process, it's not a good trade because he's so at keeping disadvantage already. So, with that said, he's generally committed to these options and he's gonna take a lot of pokes from, side B. He's gonna get like outranged a lot. So, Rosa is generally controlling the neutral. It's just that what is she going to do when Luma's gone and she's going to lose Luma. Alright, Mewtwo. This is a very classic matchup of, alright, is he going to use Shadow Ball? Who am I going to burst him down or am I going to Gravity Pull it? Oh, he bait out Gravity Pull, he's going to punish me for it. Oh, I bait out his Shadow Ball, am I going to do a lot of damage because he's big and light? And since both characters destroy each other with combos, destroy each other in advantage state, although Mewtwo teleport ledge is really annoying. And it ends up being a matchup where I think Rosa has a slight neutral advantage, Mewtwo has a slight advantage state advantage, and it's just a very volatile matchup. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, Mew Brawl I haven't played that much, but it feels a lot like Fox where Rosa, he's just too fast. Rosa can't reliably keep him out. Rosa being floaty means she gets caught by a lot of his like up air, up B bullshit. Luma won't save her reliably, but also more importantly, like Mew Brawler can just press a button, kill Luma, and then combo Rosa without Luma because he's so fast he doesn't have too much problem getting in. So that's a scary matchup. It feels pretty even though because he has to commit to his openings versus Rosa. Alright, Pikachu. This matchup used to be really hard, but honestly Pikachu like can't approach the ground well and he has to jump to get in. But Rosa is super good at keeping Pikachu out when he has to commit to slower jump-ins. So I think it's fine. I think Rosa just has to play around Pikachu's jump-ins, potential up B burst options, and not get overwhelmed by neutral B. Because the move is quite a bit of lag, and it's very linear. Also, D-Tether is very annoying for Pikachu to deal with. He can't hit D-Tether Luma well at all. Even Tether Luma is hard to hit, but D-Tether especially is like, can be obnoxious. So PT is a matchup I used to think was bad. The more I played it, the more I'm like, it's not that bad. Squirtle is pretty easy to wall out, which is a big deal. Because Rosa doesn't struggle for short characters generally, which is nice. Ivysaur's camping is good, but it's not quite good enough. Like he's more of a mid-range-ish character, and I think Rosa wins at like that like Ivysaur Bear fair range pretty well. So he's forced to play into more Razor Leafs and like Grab Reads, which is gonna poke a Luma, it's gonna force Rosa to approach. But she can go for those committal burst options, and also just kind of be obnoxious with side B, and then Charizard's surprisingly annoying. He's always annoying with PT because you just use him at high percents and there's rage and BS. But yeah, so you end up having a lot of these like mind games in neutral, mostly with Ivysaur of like, are you gonna Razor Leaf? What are you gonna do with the Razor Leaf? Are you gonna grab? Can I keep in disadvantage? Am I gonna bait out the neutral beam? Am I gonna die to Charizard at 60? Because Rosa can't. It's hard to edgeguard PT. So PT lives a long time, so he gets a lot of chances to cheese out Rosa with Charizard. And that's the main reason I think it's not Rosa's favor. Speaking of cheesing Rosa out, we got Snake. Oof, 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 Snake. Like, no, like Rosa wins the neutral fine. She can gravity pull the grenade and it adds like a second to the timer. So like you can always use Snake's grenades against him. She can also punch through Cypher pretty well, I believe, with back air. Up air might also work, but I know back air does for sure. But, and she can also just kind of jump around, like being impossible to hit. The problem is kind of like Kazuya matchup where if he just finds a couple openings, like he can do a lot of damage if not kill you. It's also really hard to get a lot of damage versus him because you can gravity pull grenades, you can use Star Blitz all you want, but he's heavy. So like all these small pokes are nice, but you're doing a lot of poking, finding a lot of safe options, and like playing the advantage state very well to get significant damage relative to him just hitting you with like one grenade up air and doing 30. Probably tumbling Luma and then killing Luma afterwards. And then Rosa being tall means she gets ledge trap very hard. Even if Gravity Pull can deal with things like a Psybe and up smash. So it's a very interesting matchup. I've leaned anywhere from Rosa winning the matchup to Rosa losing the matchup the past years. Sonic. So, Sonic's like really fucking broken. Rosa's really good at dealing with Sonic because Rosa's disjoints are just super safe versus him. He wants to burst Rosa down, but he doesn't have like shield pressure that lets him stick to Rosa, which is a big deal. He also doesn't kill Luma particularly well as a result, although he's fine at it. And then like he just gets that range where he's doing like spin dash. You can just kind of jump at him after you block spin dash and nair him. You have trouble dealing with it. He's recovering. You can like down air his recovery. You can ledge trap him. Starbits is really good to contest spin dash if he's doing it in the corner. So he's kind of forced to like not spin dash a lot or commit to spin dashes like an iframe through the Starbits or like whip punish it. Which means the Rosa player has a bit of like momentum in that she's controlling neutral a lot. The main thing is if Sonic gets a lead, it's annoying, and Sonic can edgeguard her very well, better than most characters. My nose is itchy right now. Terry. Kind of like the Ryu Ken matchups, it's like neutral controls Rosas. Especially because Terry's projectile is not that great for controlling neutral. He has to make a purchase happen for Starbits, but of course he's faster, he can do that. But man, the edge guards hurts. Man, the lack of disjoints hurts. Man, good SDI plus Luma can mess his stuff up, although it won't always. And then but the thing is, Rosa has trouble killing, so if she doesn't get the edge guards, like if she misses like a couple key edge guards, and Terry gets go like 2 stocks straight, he's gonna win off just how much he does with go meter, how much rage scales with him. So it is up to Rosa to like really convert well off these hits compared to Terry. And luckily she has the neutral for it, but it's like also if the Terry player just makes a couple good reads on his recovery, makes it back, lives long. The trades are not her favor. The dealing with like not even okay, but like the power wave, I think the giant projectile that goes upwards, that really messes with her ability to just float around and be really obnoxious with low commitment. This one's gonna surprise people. Wolf's pretty even though. It's like the main thing in the matchup that's annoying, of course, is just neutral B. That laser is dumb. But with that said, like otherwise it kind of just ends up being a case of Wolf is a better character than Rosa. Like Rosa actually has a lot of good tools to outrange him, outmobility him, edgeguard him, ledge trap him, juggle him not so much. Fast full air dodge and spacies is really broken. Especially because I think he has a frame 2 air dodge, which is crazy. And then of course if he hits Rosa, like he can do so much damage and kill Luma so easy off any hit. But the fact of the matter is he's generally getting these hits off of good condition with laser and a good jump in near. And he's definitely prone to getting hit by Rosa's disjoints. I also just dropped something. Oops. currently getting hit by Rosa's disjoints. Starbits is still annoying. And then Rosa's juggling game means he has to be unpredictable with his jump-ins, or he's going to get hit over and over. And he's too light to avoid that, especially with his recovery being serviceable but not great. Alright, Bayo. I'd start thinking this matchup is Rosa's, Bayo's favor. The thing about a lot of these matchups, I'll just explain a lot of these matchups what the issue is. So, with Bayo, the big thing is Rosa's so tall. Like, Rosa can't really deal with side B that well, because even when she's, like, crouching, Bayo can always do, like, short up side B and hit Rosa. So, Rosa's height makes her super vulnerable to Bayo's main burst option, and that also means Rosa can't play at Starbit range at all. Add the fact that Rosa is tall, easy to combo, floaty, Bayo's edge guarding is phenomenal, so Rosa doesn't have that, like, advantage of, oh, my recovery is pretty good. And then the final thing, though, is Bayo combo escapes Rosa's stuff so much. A lot of Rosa's combos are, like, very frame tight, or, like, 2-frame tight. So frame 1 bats within really messes Rosa's damage output up. And to me, that's kind of like the thing that pushes it over. Because otherwise, you could bait out side B as a neutral and, like, use starbits and get crouching, dashing to do that. Abuse your bigger hitboxes, but you're not getting enough damage on winning neutral with Rosa. Alright, Bowser. I tried learning this matchup so many times, and you would think Rosa wins. And it's legitimately just an issue of Bowser's stats are too good. Like, sure, Rosa will win the neutral multiple times, has better hitboxes, I think she's like about as fast as him on the ground, although she's Bowser's much faster in the air, of course. The problem is you're poking him for small bits of damage. Even the combos with Rosa doing maybe 40 tops. Whereas Bowser hits you like once, Luma gets tumbled immediately. Suddenly Rosa can't do any damage to him. Doesn't have the best hitboxes anymore, and he's just trading and mashing. And it's like, as the Rosa, you have to be so perfect at like constantly baiting him out and punishing him, and winning that neutral and those advantage interactions over and over. Well, any mistakes in Bowser can just easily take your stock as Rosa. So, I could see a universe where it's even. I could see like a universe where the Rosa players get really consistent at the advantage state as Rosa's favor. But without like these like combos that lock Bowser into like taking 80, 90, 1 billion damage, it's a little bit rough. Alright, Duck Hunt might be a surprise here, but Gunman blocks side B. Can block side B. I think even his side B blocks Rosa's side B. It's like, our main like mid-range tool does not work. Without having access to that tool, Duck Hunt basically just gets to kind of freely press projectiles and force Rosa to approach, and she's really bad at just straight up approaching without some sort of tool to like negate the opponent's walling. And like otherwise she's a better character in a lot of ways, right? But in this particular matchup, it's just really hard. I hate it. I think Chrome's pretty simple. Big, fast sword, lots of base knockback, lots of good pressure because of his frame data, and yeah, like, she's everything Rosa doesn't want to deal with. I've considered being even before because of the recovery, but it's like, despite that, it still requires the Rosa player to outplay Chrom, put him in a bad spot, read a couple of his recovery options to like confirm the kill. And it's just so easy for her to get clipped by random shit and not be able to get up ledge, not be able to land, basically not play the game when she loses neutral. And then Cloud. Very similar, right? You know, fast sword, broken everything. I will say that his slower frame data means Rosa gets to play a bit more star mids and like with punish a bit more, challenge him a bit more. But in exchange, Limit's just like the equalizer. Like, oh, his offstage is limit, super at the edge guard. Oh, he's limit neutral. I have to read Blade Beam and like gravity pull that, or otherwise that kills Luma for free, which wins him neutral for free, right? Or I die early to like side B. His massive back air, always have talked about that, right? It just chunks Luma for free. I have to commit to openings or commit to backing off and getting small whiff punishes for it. So I don't have a great answer for that, and that just controls the neutral too much. I will say, this is surprisingly one of Rosa's better matchups in the -1s. It could almost be even, to be honest. But It's like, it's barely not even, I think. Just because Cloud's a little bit too good of a character. That back air in particular is a little bit too good at just chunking Luma. Hey, look, there's another sword here. We got Corrin, right? I mean, this is gonna be pretty similar, right? Just buttons that Rosa can't deal with, because sword characters are really, really, really good. I will say Corrin doesn't handle Starbits well at all, but I think in exchange, if Corrin and Rosa next to each other, Corrin like wins every interaction. And Corrin's recovery is pretty hard for Rosa to edgeguard. You can edgeguard it, but like unless Corrin is like really far away, it feels like a guessing game on edgeguarding. And if you miss up the edgeguard, Rosa loses Luma, which then you're off stage without Luma having to land, and Corrin just is not going to let that out your big, light, floaty character. So it's pretty rough. I could see it being potentially even, but it's, I think it's a little bit too hard to push advantage versus all these lingering big aerials that Rosa like barely outrageous and can barely punish, so she can't mess up execution. Alright, so I used to think Fox was good for Rosa, and then I played Light more and more. Now, Light's very good at this game, don't get me wrong. But, yeah, no. Fox is way too good at just running around Rosa's attack range, with punching everything, and then keeping her there forever. His combos on floaties are insane. So much damage, lots of kill power. The fact that Nair pressure is so safe means I don't have great counterattacks on block. Luma's actually very easy for Fox to kill safely because of his speed. It's like he like does anything. Tumbles Luma, makes me guess to like either defend Luma or let Luma die, and he can like play 50-50s there. Laser is surprisingly annoying too. And then just hitting him's hard. Like he's too fast for Rosa to really hit. And since she's floaty, she's like open to so many anti-airs, like fair, dash with punishes, up smash even, the moment she jumps. Like jumping above 100% is just asking to die. So the only thing she has going for her in this matchup is that, yeah, Nair is going for Fox, and she can edgeguard him. But generally matchups where she wins, where she loses neutral, she just loses the matchup. And this is one of them. All right, hero. This one's probably obvious, right? Sword and projectile. Side B in particular, it'll hit Luma, and if Rosa blocks it, Luma still gets hit, and then it's better on block. But yeah, Rosa's forced to approach. There isn't a great answer versus side B and just his other BS, and he's getting buffs in the meantime. So Rosa's almost always fighting buffed up hero, which is way too hard to deal with. I will say, Rosa gets into like side B, bear range, and hero doesn't have buffs. She's pretty good there. And she can jump around hero and be really obnoxious because he's so slow and has like no, like his up air is too small to anti-air her, and his up tilt's kind of committal. But at that point, basically just jumping around and baiting at the hero to make mistakes, which is not reliable. Alright, Joker. Kind of similar to Fox, but he's just too fast to hit. Joker in particular is also really hard to edgeguard for Rosa, even Arsene Joker. And then Gun and Side B is just perfect tools to poke at Luma. Adds the fact that Rosa struggles to kill. Joker can easily get like 2 Arsenes of stock, honestly. And it ends up just being a nightmare matchup. Luckily, Joker's like actual buttons generally are outmatched by Rosa's. So it's like he has to find the whiff punishes. He has to play like really good with like baiting me out or whatever. Can't challenge him head on, but I don't think Joker has too much issue playing into matchups where his buttons are worse than his opponents. I think the only thing Rosa has really is like Nair in particular is kind of annoying for him. Me Gunner. I think Me Gunner, it's kind of similar to Duck Hunt. There's no broken like thing blocking Starbits. Well, I think the down beam on might. But it's like more so Me Gunner is able to trade with Starbits very well with their projectiles. And Rosa's forced to approach because Luma's getting poked out. And Rosa doesn't have good enough approach tools versus Me Gunner's like min-maxed camping, right? Like there are characters with projectiles that are good at it, but aren't min-maxed to camp. No, Me Gunner is min-maxed to camp. And Rosa's bad versus that. Which is also why she's bad versus Me Swordy. Like, just safe spam up projectiles Rosa can't deal with well. Sword is also annoying, although I think I'd rather fight Me. I think I'd rather fight Me Gunner than Swordy, yeah. And then of course we got Min Min. I'll say Rosa can edgeguard Min Min and destroy her in disadvantage, sure, but the Min Min player has to mess up the neutral for that to happen. And while they're playing neutral, Luma's just getting destroyed by tilts and nairs. So a lot of times you'll get into neutral by jumping around, using Rosa's amazing airspeed, find some sort of opening, hit Min Min, but Luma's dead. And then suddenly Rosa's advantage state is like toothless. So she has to win neutral, but she has to win it quickly. And then Min Min in the meantime will just murder Luma quickly with a few hits, murder Rosa quickly. And if Rosa's getting too predictable with her air movement, because she can't play on the ground in the matchup, she'll get grabbed, tilted, whatever. So she's very open to just getting hit by Min Min's tilts. It could be even arguably in the future, but I lean towards losing. This is the matchup. Everyone goes, no way, Dabuz. There's no way Rosa loses the Pac-Man. But the problem is, Rosa lacks an answer for Hydrant. She can gravity pull the Hydrant, yes. She can even gravity pull the items, but two problems with those. One, if you're gravity pulling Hydrant when Pac-Man's charging fruit, he's winning. Like, he's getting a resource while you're just negating one of his. And what Pac-Man can do is, he can throw the fruit and then pick it up again, and Rosa gravity pulls it. She doesn't pick it up, so Pac-Man can actually throw like a Galaga, right? You can gravity pull it, and Pac-Man can run up and fair Rosa during the Galaga rethrow and hit her for free. And then kill Luma and all this stuff. Because now Shokim is really good at dealing with Rosa's like safe pressure. Like you can just kind of nair, punish anything Rosa does, and like kill Luma with that easily. Dash attacks an obnoxious move in the matchup. It's kind of hard to juggle him because Rosa, you know, she's got air mobility, she's floaty. So it's like if like Pac-Man drops a Hydrant to cut off Rosa from like a certain place and drifts to the other side, she's not gonna be able to land and get there in time because she's so floaty. So Hydrant ends up being a really annoying anti-juggle tool. Even though it's not gonna hit Rosa, it's gonna just make her like, it's gonna split them up a lot. What else? And then Rosa doesn't have a great answer for Bell in hand. Granted, most characters don't. But I think Rosa especially, like, really has to be very careful versus Bell in hand, just running around shielding, looking for an opening to kill her 80. And that's a problem when Pac-Man's recovery, while it's not amazing, I think he has enough outplay potential with it to not die super early, because he's also a smaller hitbox. And, oh, I forgot. The fact that, like, his nair in particular lingers means it can punch through Luma's attacks very reliably, so you have to hit him with Rosa, which can be extra difficult because he's not exactly a big body. And he's surprisingly mobile with good hitboxes, frame data, etc. But yeah, the big thing really is just Rosa can't kill Hydrant well. Gravity pull leaves her open, even just Pac-Man pressure. And, well, like, good usage of items is hard for Rosa to contest. Also, items just kill Luma super easily. So you have to gravity pull them. You can't be blocking them. Ah, Palu. The Palu matchup. The only thing about this matchup is that, like, Rosa's mobility and Starbits is so annoying for her. The fact that Palu lacks a great ground game means she has to jump a lot, meaning Rosa gets a lot of chances to just, like, dash attack her, nair her, up smash, Starbit landing. Palu also really stinks at hitting Luma, especially if you use Luma shot that make Luma a little bit lower to the ground and more mobile. So, Palutena is going to be like, oh my god, I can't hit this Luma. With all these things said, the problem is, Rosa's so tall, so back air is free on her. Rosa's tall, light, floaty. So, you'll win neutral over and over versus Palu, and then Palu gets one opening, hits with an air, does a lot of damage, and then the up airs are super free for her. The ledge trapping and pressure super free for her. Back air, dash attack, explosive flame are super free for killing Luma with. Now down tilt's hard for Rosa to get away from at the ledge. And like, in comparison, Rosa can like juggle Palutena if she's predictable, like run around up tilts, catch some teleports maybe, but it's not gonna be enough. Especially when Palu's so fast, she can kind of play around Rosa's like projectiles and hitboxes. So like, Palu's gonna be able to find these openings eventually. But I used to think it was worse than it actually is. Speaking of thinking it was worse than it actually is, Roy. I mean, similar to Chrom, right? Not much to add there. I will say it's harder to edgeguard Roy than Chrom for Rosa, which is a really big problem, right? You know, I'm putting this back in my eyes too. I'm like, I can't think of any positives in the matchup. Yeah, that one's just bad. Sephiroth. Not a surprise here. What's probably surprising is it's not -2. And the main reason for that is Starbit's very slightly outrageous Sephiroth. So like Sephiroth, he hits harder with his spacing tools than Rosa does, that's for sure. Wing is broken. He definitely edgeguard hurt. He's so hard to edgeguard. But with that said, he gets messed up by Rosa's funny combos. Like, he actually gets super clipped. And like, Rosa's mobility is so good at playing around his stuff, so good with punishing him. Starbits is just going to constantly be a nuisance. And him being so big makes him such an easy character to juggle, especially because he's kind of floaty. But it's a pretty skill testing matchup. I've considered being even before. I think the thing that makes Sephiroth's favor is just one wing is a bit too hard of a mechanic for Rosa to consistently deal with. Alright, Shulk. Big, swordy, safe hitboxes. Also great edge guarding. Like him just waiting for recoveries and not beating it means Rosa's normally great recovery is counteracted. Shield Art stops a lot of her combos. Like you have to end combos with multi-jab or Shield Art, which is really annoying because winning the neutral is so hard. Especially just because he does safe aerial and it kills Luma. I will say Rosa can run up and nair him though, so it's not the worst. Like her doing run up nair and out frame dating him is actually really big, more than you'd expect. Alright, next up, we got Steve. And this is one of those matchups where Rosa camps, he camps, Rosa loses. So Rosa has to approach. And like if she can't deal with Hydrant, she can't deal with blocks. She has a little more tricks to deal with blocks, to be fair, than Hydrant. But like it's Steve, right? He's just too overtuned for her. I think normally he can like kind of play the air game, bait things out, punish, get some damage, can even edge guard, juggle and ledge trap him well. But there's nothing you can do about like him eventually getting Diamond and just like DLCing you with Diamond. And also Minecart. Rosa lacks a good answer for Minecart. She can gravity pull it down her though, so juggling him is pretty easy relative to most characters trying to juggle a move that kills you at 70. Yeah, this matchup might be -2 to be honest, long term. It probably is, but right now it's -1. Wario! Too mobile. Like, everything about this matchup should be good for Rosa, right? Hitboxes, he's in the air a lot. His advantage state is annoying, but not particularly like overwhelming. He doesn't have a sword. But Waft is a great camping mechanic to force Rosa to approach. Rosa's really easy to combo into Waft. Luma isn't going to save her enough. And he can edgeguard Rosa, and is also very hard to edgeguard or juggle. So I think all of Rosa's strengths in the matchups are neutral. Also, Wario is kind of hard to combo because of his size. Like, get like big combos on at least. So, hard to kill him because you can't hold him at disadvantage too well. He just survives, gets Waft, and you lose. Definitely a doable matchup. It could even be even long term with like enough optimization on Rosa's anti-airs. But I feel like with Rosa, it's just you're always like one whip up to it away from hitting with like, just like, oh, you whip something, run up nair, get both hits, up air, Waft, you're dead. Or even just a lot of damage. And Luma's dead. And now you're trying to get back to neutral without Luma, and Luma keeps dying, and Wario's just trading super well versus you. And then Zero Suit. Zero in particular on Zero Suit's mobility is just such a hard move to deal with. Like, that Zero is going to poke Luma for free, poke Rosa for free. Dash attack is really in conjunction with that to like punish the Rosa player respecting the Zero a bit too much. You can start dash attacking or back airing to kill Luma, maybe hit Rosa. Rosa jumping is especially vulnerable to Zero Suit speed. And then trying to edge guard, ledge trap, juggle her, where Rosa really needs to shine to win a matchup, is rough. I will say at least Zero Suit's lack of like a big damage output and kill power means Rosa can lose neutral a bit more than versus most characters, which keeps it more competitive than it otherwise being a -2. Finally, the -2 matchups. We had Roy already. Now, let's keep in mind, none of this list has been ordered this entire time. I should actually put this here. Oh, I know someone's still gonna not read this and go, damn, why is yeah, the DDCon matchup like worse than the Raw matchup, or vice versa, whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Anyway, so Belmonts. At this point, it's a running theme, right? Heavy projectile camping characters destroy Rosa. Like if the character is like all in on camping, it's Sword for Rosa, and that's Belmonts. Especially the ledge trapping. Like, you don't get to play the game versus Belmonts at the ledge anymore. I don't think Rosa has any favors going for her in this matchup besides, I guess she can gravity pull the projectiles, especially Holy Water. And then he just hits you with a whip and Luma's dead. And then Aegis, Ira Mithra. They're just, you just can't play versus Mithra. Rosa really hates those matchups where she loses neutral. And Mithra is like meant to be the best neutral character in the game. Fast sword, big sword, crazy frame data. A lot of base knockback on the moves, at least not to kill Luma. So like you get hit once by anything and Luma's just pretty much gone. And then like Rosa is super easy to juggle, so she's forced to go to ledge a lot. But she's so bad at the ledge and the corner. And then finally Pyra. Pyra is just going to be so good at cleaning up Rosa, cleaning up Luma. The only thing we're having matchup is you can edge guard them, like every character can, but that has shown to not be enough. Pyra Mithra has shown to just be like way too good in like every matchup. In the matchup she's not that great in are characters with neutrals that are very good at controlling the ground with threatening options. And I don't think, for example, Rosa Starbits or like with punishment with dash attack is enough in this matchup. So yeah, those are the matchups where I'm just like, don't bother. Unless you can heavily outplay your opponent and they don't know the matchup, find someone else. Anyway, y'all, hope this was informative. It'll be like my beginning of 2023 tier list matchup chart, and let's see how it changes throughout the year. Maybe at the end of the year I'll be like, hey guys, actually Rosa beats Aegis and loses the DK. Oh, okay. Maybe there's another game. Bye.